So if you're someone who's scared of bulking because they think they're going to get fat, that exact mindset is what's stopping you from getting in the best shape of your life. By the end of this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build muscle whilst obviously losing body fat, how to set up your training, how to set up your recovery, and how to set up your nutrition, and finally, what supplements are actually worth using. So I've been bulking properly for the entire past year. Not a dirty bulk, not see what happens. Structured surplus with dialed training and nutrition. I built more muscle this year than I have in a long time. If you click this video, you're probably wanting to build a little bit of muscle, but you're just not sure the best way to go about it. I don't blame you. There's a lot of shit out there. People telling you you've got to eat big to get big. People keep saying, right, you need to be in a surplus more than 500, 600, 700 calories, right? There's a lot of information and it can get confusing, right? I'm about to break it down step by step and as simple as possible. Here's the reality. Like the old school mentality, like dirty bulking, eat big to get big. Yeah, it does build muscle. I'm not saying it doesn't. With that method, yes, you build muscle, but you also build a lot of body fat in the meantime. Why does that matter? Because yes, it's great, you're building muscle, but obviously we want to build muscle and then obviously want to diet to almost like reveal what we've built. The thing is, when you are lean gaining, which is the method that I'm going to explain, is you want to build as much muscle as possible whilst gaining minimal body fat. So when it comes to that dieting phase, one, that diet phase could be shorter, but two, the likelihood of you eating into that harder muscle tissue drastically increases. But if you've gained a lot of body fat, it's going to drastically increase the chances of obviously you eating into muscle tissue. But again, like I said, it's going to spend a lot more time in a dieting phase, which nobody wants to do this. That's what this video is going to be about, building muscle whilst keeping your body fat to a minimum. If one of your biggest goals is to build muscle, but you've not done a proper bulk before, you are holding yourself back. So bulk is simple, right? You obviously need to be in a calorie surplus. You need to be eating more than obviously you lose. If you do it properly, most of that body weight will come from muscle and not body fat. So with this method, yes, you have to be patient. I will pre-warn you. It takes time to build. You can't force feed. If you do and you lose patience and you try and obviously build that scale weight up too quickly, you're going to be getting more body fat than muscle. General rule, if you're new to the gym, you can be gaining around 1 to 2% of body weight each month. People who've been going to the gym for 2, 3 plus years, you want to be aiming for around 0.5 to 1% each month. But yeah, the longer you train, the harder it is to build muscle. That's just the way it is. It's slow, but slow is exactly what you want. If you break it down month by month and you think about it like that, you could potentially gain 12 to 24 pounds within an entire year. If you're new to the gym, that could be a shit ton of muscle. If obviously you're not, it'll be a blend of obviously muscle and body fat. And that's fine. If you've done it properly, it'll be minimal and you can just trim that off when you come to a fat loss phase. Dirty bulking doesn't work because people just, again, eat big to get big and they're gaining 2, 3, 4, 5% of the body weight every single month. Without being on the old gear, that weight naturally is going to turn to fat, not muscle. Research shows that even a 5 to 10% surplus is enough to support muscle growth without excessive fat gain. My maintenance is around 2,800 calories. When I bulk, I push that up to around 3,000 and adjust depending on how fast my weight is moving. If you don't know your maintenance, you can estimate it by multiplying your body weight in pounds by 14 to 18, or you can track your intake and weight consistently and adjust from there. Protein intake matters. Roughly 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight is plenty when bulking. I weigh around 185 pounds and I eat around 180 to 190 grams per day. Fat intake is obviously going to matter as well. Too little fat can affect your hormones. Too much fat makes it easier to gain body fat. Around 20 to 30% of your calories from fat works well for the majority of people. The rest of your calories will come from carbs. Calories are set, once macros are set, your food can be more flexible. So here's what a typical day of eating looks like for me on a bulk. I usually wake up around 5:30, I'll have a banana, then I'll train. Some people prefer to train fasted, some people need a big meal. That's completely personal preference. If you've not done it, you'll have to test it, see how you find it on both sides. Come back from the gym, I'm having oats, banana, raisins, and honey. I absolutely love it. At lunch, I'm either having like tuna mayo and rice, or I'm having eggs on either 1 or 2 slices of sourdough. Then for dinner, I'm usually having some chicken, broccoli, potatoes, steak, broccoli, and potatoes. I try and keep it simple, unless obviously the girlfriend's cooking, where we can have a little bit more flexibility because she's a better cook than me. The last meal of the day will be a little bit of what I call a macro filler. So I'll track everything that I've had, breakfast, lunch, dinner, like any snacks, any coffees, whatever it is. Whatever I still need to hit in terms of calories, in terms of protein, I will basically create a snack off them numbers. Usually it's some Greek yogurt with maybe a bit of protein powder in there, some frozen fruit and some honey. That usually gets me to where I need to be every single day. When I'm obviously building my calories up as well, when obviously my weight gain stalls, the easiest thing to do for me, which I would suggest for you, is just adding more to the current meals that you're already having, right? Don't try and add another meal in there and obviously just make it a little bit more complicated than it needs to be. Just whatever you're having, let's say, all right, I'm having my oats for breakfast, right? Maybe I'm having 100 grams. Or maybe I'm having 80 grams for say. If I increase my calories, maybe I'll bump my oats up to 110 grams, right? So again, same meal, just a little bit more food. So naturally, it's easy for me to track, and I'm not making it more difficult than it needs to be. Training, this is where people mess it up. The calories and the training need to work hand in hand. If you eat more but train worse, you'll just gain fat. If you're in your first year of proper training, focus on learning proper technique and pushing yourself with very good form. Split choice doesn't matter too much. Just make sure that you're hitting everything at least once a week. Minimum, I would train 3 times a week, so I'd probably opt for a push-pull leg split. If you're intermediate, meaning around 1 to 3 years and plus of solid training, you should probably be increasing your volume slightly. Around 8 to 15 hard sets per muscle group per week works well. With larger muscle groups, obviously tolerating a little bit more. And if you've been training for majority of your life, you can obviously be as technical as you want with it, right? You work your split however you want. You can focus on weaker area of training. You can obviously implement like drop sets, supersets, like giant sets, all these different things, and you can get a little bit crazy with it. But when obviously you're in the beginning stages, just try and keep it simple, stay consistent, and you'll see results. Before you ask it, I know a lot of people say it, cardio will not kill your gains, right? When I say that, there is an argument for both sides. So when I'm training my clients, when I'm putting them for a lean gain, as we've mentioned, I always want to keep a little bit of cardio in there. Naturally, it's going to help with your heart health, but it's also going to help obviously with cardiovascular levels, right? Which allows you to lift more weight, but to lift more weight for longer. So to do more reps because you're basically fitter, right? And it helps you, and it also helps you keep that midsection tight as you're increasing your food week on week. There's a caveat to that. I would make sure if you have like an Apple Watch or a Garmin or anything like that, or I think you can just tie a bit of a pin to yourself on like the treadmill at the gym or something. Just make sure that if you can, just track your heart rate. So I always make sure that my clients are aiming between 120 and 150 heart rate when you're doing your cardio. Anything above that is just far too much. It's going to cause more demand and stress on your body. It'll tax out your central nervous system, and you'll feel that impact when you're actually doing your weights. Remember, within this phase, your weight training should be your priority, right? So if you're doing too much cardio, you're doing cardio too intensely, like high intensity interval training and sprints and stuff like that, naturally that's going to have a bad impact on your actual weight training, which then can stunt your muscle growth. So just make sure that, yes, there's a good amount of cardio in there, but always low intensity, steady state. Incline walking, bike, the stepper. If you haven't got a heart rate tracker or anything like that, just make sure it's at a conversational pace. So when you're doing your cardio, you should naturally, yes, have a sweat on, you should be hot, but you should be able to hold a conversation. That's really, really important. Finally, really, to keep the supplement chat nice and short and sweet, there are some supplements I think that are worth your money, but there's a lot out there and people push a lot out there because they've got these discount codes and all that are a complete waste of time, in my opinion. Right? Supplements is a supplement, right? It's in the name. So if you're deficient on certain things because you can't get it in through natural food sources, then yeah, you can put obviously them supplements in. But for the majority of the time, naturally, you should be getting these things in through natural food anyway. So you don't really need them, right? So first one really that I would push to everybody, it's the most research-backed supplement, is creatine. Right, it's going to help obviously with brain function for one. It's going to help obviously improve your strength. Therefore, it's going to help obviously with muscle growth and recovery. Two is having an electrolyte, right? So still people don't know what electrolytes are, and it baffles me. When you are like sweating, right? Even obviously when you're like asleep at night and when you wake up in the morning, you are very dehydrated, right? So when you sweat, you lose salt, right? And then people try and rehydrate with water. Water is not enough because there's no salts in the water, right? So make sure that when you're, again, I would say first thing in the morning, and then, for example, after you've had a heavy session or you've been sweating a lot in the gym, replenish your body with the salts that it's losing through electrolytes, right? So sometimes I'll have one per day, sometimes I'll have two, right? One after my workout, and then two a little bit later on in the afternoon, right? It's completely personal preference. It'll help obviously with your mood, again, help obviously your brain function, and naturally help with your energy levels as well. A lot of the time you do not need coffee, you are just dehydrated, right? So having an electrolyte there, you'll naturally feel that energy boost and it'll help you on with your day. Number 3, I think, again, I've said this in previous videos, sleep is the most important thing, right? So having a sleep supplement like magnesium, for example, is naturally going to help obviously you wind down, but yes, get to sleep easier, but have a more restful sleep when you're within that sleeping state. Then you wake up feeling refreshed and you wake up feeling recovered from that session the past couple of days. Another one would be vitamin D. If you're in the UK, like, you probably don't get enough of it, so you need to supplement that. Again, that's going to help obviously with the mood, your energy, everything else around it. So that needs to be a staple, in my opinion. Alongside that, if you don't have a lot of like oily fatty fish, then I would be also shooting for some like omega-3 fish oils. Everything else is optional, and everything up, the takeaway is simple, right? So if your main goal right now is to build muscle, you need to make sure that, like obviously we said earlier, you're working out your maintenance calories. You're giving yourself a 5 to 10% bump on them calories to start that lean gain. That's over a 7-day period where that weight sits. If your weight's increased, then you know to keep it at that for now. If your weight's not moved, I would increase it again by another 5%, around 100, 150 calories or something like that. See how your body responds to it. See how you feel within the gym. If you're getting stronger and the weight is obviously building, then you know you're in a good spot. Keep that until the scale weight stalls, or until you progress in the gym in terms of strength stalls, right? You need to make sure that you're only giving your body more food when it needs it. You don't want to be increasing your food every single week if you're getting stronger week on week, right? If you can maintain the amount of food you're on and increase your lifts in the gym every single week, you're in a perfect spot, right? You want to try and keep your food to as minimal as possible within this lean gain. Only give your body more food, like I said, when it needs it. Progress that for as long as you can, 16, 20, even sometimes up to 24 weeks. If you're a new lifter, you could probably extend this to a year. I would highly, highly suggest that within your early phase of training. 9 times out of 10, you do not need to cut. If obviously you've got a lot of body fat on you, 100% do a cut first. But within them early stages, you're going to get a lot of newbie gains. It is much more efficient to actually gaining muscle. So you need to make the most of that time while you have it. So spend time 6 to 12 months in a calorie surplus, gradually increasing that scale weight, gradually increasing that food, and then gradually increasing that strength over a period of time. And then after, again, 8 to 12 months, you can probably do your first cut, reveal what you've built, and then repeat that same process. And that is exactly how real physiques are built, and you improve month on month, year on year. Look exactly how you want to look. So if you made it this far into the video, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. So if you click this video here, I'll be breaking down step by step what's the perfect split for you, where you are specifically at in your journey, whether you're beginner, intermediate, advanced, whatever it is. I've laid it all down in that video. Give that a watch. Let me know your thoughts. I'll speak to you soon. Peace.